What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about some of the cool features that DJI added in the latest firmware update for the Osmo Pocket. So let's get right to it. Alright guys, we're going to talk about the 12 features in this latest firmware update. I don't know why, but for some reason I love the way it turns on. I just thought that was cool. Anyway, let's get into the video. Alright, so I'm going to connect my Osmo Pocket to my phone. When I connect it to my phone, okay, the Osmo Pocket immediately, the MIMO app immediately shows up, okay? Alright, so the first firmware update that DJI added is Slowmotion in 1080. However, it crops in. As you can see, normal video is like this, but when I go to Slowmotion, it crops way in, even at 1080. I was at 1080 for both, and as you can see, it crops way in. This is kind of annoying, but you still get that 120 frames per second slow motion. The next feature is when I press the power or function button, when I press it twice, it recenters the camera, and then when I press it 3 times, it turns around into selfie mode. Alright, so the gimbal's been optimized, so when you turn off the Osmo Pocket, it fits perfectly into its case, just like this. So the next feature is it's able to recenter and switch camera orientation in flashlight mode. Flashlight mode is when you hold the Osmo Pocket out just like this, and the Osmo Pocket can shoot straight up just like this in flashlight mode. Alright, so the next feature is that it has reduced noise when shooting video. When it says noise, what it means is for video. So that means the video is going to be better, especially when it's low light or scenes where it's going to have to use a higher ISO where there's going to be more noise. It's improved that. So the next feature, it says optimized time-lapse mode. I don't know what they did here that they added in time-lapse, but whatever they did, the time-lapse is better. Obviously, you can choose the interval and the duration of your time-lapse. Now it's also optimized the audio. So the audio is good from an arm length away. So within about 3 feet or a meter, you can get really good audio for vlogging. However, beyond that, I think DJI has tried to improve that. Also within an arm's length, it sounded kind of tinny, so they improved that as well. And right now there is no external mic port. They might have something that hooks up to the adapter in the future. Alright, so they optimized the autofocus in some scenes. So basically the autofocus should be better for most things. It has the auto lock on where you can lock on to something and it will just focus on that. However, you can only do that at up to 30 frames per second. You can't do that at 4K 60 frames per second. Alright, so they also optimized the gimbal for long exposure shots. So manual mode, you can adjust the shutter speed for long exposures. Alright, so the Panorama mode also works a lot faster now. So you're able to do 2 different type of panoramas, the 180 which shoots 180 degrees, or the other one that does 3x3. So it does 3 photos in the top level, 3 photos in the middle, 3 photos down below, and then it stitches them all together. You're also going to get increased file reading speed of playback in DJI MIMO. So that means you can do a lot more things and you don't have to get a lag in time when shooting video or photo. Alright, so the last feature added in this update is optimized gimbal stability in time-lapse mode. So what that means is when you're using time-lapse, the gimbal is going to be very stable. It's not going to be shaky, especially time-lapse. You want to make sure everything's perfect. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed those features, and actually I have one more feature that I want to mention. I don't know if it was added in this firmware update or not, but it's a really important one. So in video mode on the Osmo Pocket, I can only shoot at 30 or 60 frames per second. Now I was able to figure out how to shoot at 24 frames per second, which is really important, especially for cinematographers who want that real cinematic look. So in order to do that, I have to connect it to my phone. Alright, and I have to go into the DJI MIMO app. Alright guys, so what you're going to do in the MIMO app, you're going to go down to over here. And it's going to be in basic by default. And you can see that your options are only for 30 frames or 60 frames per second in 1080 or in 4K. But we're going to change that. You're going to go down here in the lower right in those 3 dots, and you're going to press on Video for Pro. Once you change it to Pro, you can then click out of the screen. Once out of that screen, you're going to click on right here. And as you can see, you have 24 frames per second. Okay, you can change it to 25 if you're in Europe. You got 48, you got 50, you got 60, and you have the option of shooting in 4K, which I'm doing now, and I can go to super fine. At super fine, the camera may heat up a little bit, and now we're shooting at the highest optical quality. We're shooting in 4K at 24 frames per second, and we're shooting in super fine. All right, that's how you do it. And a quick little workaround, once you pull off your phone, if you look at the screen on the Osmo Pocket, you can see that it says Pro and it says 4K 24 frames per second. If you try to swipe over and change the video, it's going to ask you to exit Pro mode. So that's the only way that I know of that you can shoot with only the Osmo Pocket in 4K at 24 frames per second. Alright guys, that's it. This video is officially over. Don't want to make it too long. Hope you enjoyed it, found it useful. If you did, don't forget to press that like, subscribe button, share, all that good stuff. See you in the next video. And remember, siempre pa'lante, nunca para atrás.